Ole Miss takes down Evansville. They have Texas on the road this weekend. What do we need to know? We have Chad Smith to tell us all about it. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Willis, the 10-year veteran member of the national media and a former Ole Miss staff member. This is the most watched podcast in the Ole Miss realm, and we thank you for that. We're proud to be a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network in America. That's all because of you taking in content like this. On today's show, Chad Smith from Swayze Crazies is going to tell us all about the Texas Longhorns. Can Ole Miss replicate what they were able to do against Evansville on Friday night? What's going on? Texas is undefeated. It's going to be a test, but we'll talk to him about that and more. All of that and more in today's Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Remember, we're free and available on all the podcast apps and on YouTube, and a special hello to the everydayers who make the show what it is, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. All right, Chad. On Friday night, the Bats completely woke up against Evansville. It was what you wanted to see from this baseball team. You could see whenever we're always talking, this is a high ceiling team. This is what we're talking about. Is it going to be more of the same going forward, or are we going to see more of that three outcome hitting that we saw earlier in the week?
So, yeah, I think it, and I'll even go back a little bit, one game further to what happened last Wednesday when Coach had a talk during the North Alabama game. Had a nice little talk with him because, the first four innings, we weren't doing crap. And excuse my expression, but that was, pretty frankly, I'm sure it was put worse in the dugout. But Coach got in there. Coach said, get your stuff together. This is a ball game. You're going to have innings like this. Let's play ball. I'm sure he had a few other choice words, but that seemed to ignite the passion in him for North Alabama, and it carried over into the Evansville series. Friday, we really lit it up. We actually had more hits, but most of them were singles, hitting them all over the field. So I don't care if we hit 14, 15 singles, as long as we're able to drive runs in and get the win, that's important. Home runs are great when you can get them, but, 14, 15 hits, I believe we had 14 hits that game. And, for us to be able to knock it around the field like that, it just really brought it home for us.
Yeah, one of the things that I was concerned with going into the Evansville series was the lack of manufacturing runs. It was home run or nothing. Against Evansville, even when on Sunday you didn't hit the ball all of that great, they still did a better job of manufacturing runs and playing situational baseball. And that gives me hope because as this is getting recorded, the Southern Miss game happened last night, essentially, but we don't know the result of that. But Texas this weekend, manufacturing runs are going to be key.
Absolutely. And Texas is no slouch. We'll go through them in detail, but they hit very well. They're balanced ball club. They can hit the home run ball. I mean, you've got three guys that are 4 home runs or above so far on the year, on the season. But they knock doubles, they knock triples, they get a lot of extra base hits. They know how to move the runners. They know how to play the game. Regardless what you think of their head coach, a lot of people in Texas, especially the A&M fans that had to experience him, are negative on him. But he's an excellent head coach. He knows how to play the game, and I don't necessarily put him at the same level as Coach Bianco is from a coaching standpoint, just because Bianco has stayed with one ball club for 26 years out of his career, whereas, Texas's head coach, he's bounced around a couple of areas, been very successful at all areas that he's been in, but he knows how to coach this team. He knows how to get the most out of them. And Texas is going to be one heck of a tough team to play, especially right out of the gate for us.
Yeah, and we will talk about that in the next two segments and all that. But I did want to bring up the fact of manufacturing runs being important because their pitching staff is so good. Now, before we get to that, though, I want to talk about the awakening of Daniel Pacella. Ole Miss fans have been waiting on that to happen on the second game on Friday night, I believe it was. Hit two bombs, one opposite field. He inside out at the ball about 350 feet. That's not
right.
What normally happens. No.
And it's one of the tougher hits to make, to inside out it and to go to the opposite field. Both of those home runs were 3-run homers. And, for him to be able to get that at this point, and he's been struggling, it's obvious. I mean, he even admitted going into the season that he didn't have a good fall and fall ball. When I witnessed him, he didn't look like he was entirely with it. However, Coach Bianco will be the first one to say that, your pitching is usually way ahead of your hitting when you start the season. And as it goes along, as it warms up, and as the competition gets tougher, that's when the batting catches up. And most of the time, it surpasses what the pitching is doing. If that's the case, then we're in very good shape, because even though we had four, including Evansville, I believe we've had 4 run rule victories in walk-off fashion. Those are good, but we learn more from our program, and everybody does. Every team learns more from their program by having a 3 to 5 run win optimally. You want to have more. You want to blow them out of the water every game, sure, but you learn more about your program and what they're made of. When you have a smaller margin of victory, you're able to utilize more strategy, utilize more players at the same time.
All right. Whenever we come back, we are going to turn our attention to the Texas Longhorn, one of the last 2 undefeated teams in college baseball. It's going to be a test in Austin. We will talk with Chad Smith all about that as soon as we come back.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. Number 1 ranked UConn dominated St. John's 85-49 on Sunday at Madison Square Garden, extending its winning streak to 47 games. The Huskies capped a perfect 31-0 regular season, including 20-0 in the Big East. UConn is winning by nearly 38 points per game, the 3rd largest average margin in Division I history. Since 1999 to 2000, UConn has 9 undefeated regular seasons, as many as all other programs combined, and has turned 6 of those into national championships. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
The biggest stretch of college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments, and that everybody's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, that's bucket list type stuff. The hard part is actually getting tickets, long queues, prices jumping around, and surprise fees at checkout. The Game Time app gives the fans the advantage with constant innovation. It is how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. Zone deals also let you pick out the section and let you save even more while Game Time selects the seats. I love being able to follow the teams in the app and get alerts when new deals drop. No stress, no guesswork, just smooth experience from start to finish. That is exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. Take the guesswork out of buying college baseball tickets or basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. All right, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcast you're listening to, and give it a 5-star review. It costs nothing, but it keeps all of this free. Thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in America. If you've been thinking about joining the Everydayer Club, let me tell you, now is the time. Again, you get ad-free shows. You get access to our group chat on Discord. You get a subtext account. You get merch discounts. All of that is available. And if you're signed up before the NCAA tournament tips off, you can get into the Everydayer Club bracket pool on Discord for a chance to win Locked On merch. Yeah, I said it. That should be a ton of fun. Right now, you can use the promo code MARCH, MARCH, to get your first month free. Head to lockedonolemist.supercast.com or tap the link down below for more information. All right, Chad. So you get to Austin, Texas. Now, the good news about playing Texas, you're not going to believe this. The University of Texas is a 100% turf field. They have more money than anybody, but for some reason, they're completely turf, just like Pete Taylor Park in southern Mississippi. So there at least will be some familiarity of playing defensive baseball on that surface. What do we need to know about this pitching staff? Hunter Elliott, Cade Townsend, Will Libbert matching up with the Texas equivalents. I know they're pretty good. What does Texas look like pitching the ball?
Texas, as far as their pitching goes, starting pitching is very difficult. They are that's one of the reasons why they are the best, and one of the best in the nation. I believe they're the top ranked SEC team right now on the polls. And just looking at these guys, they've got the ERAs, the average ERA on staff is 2.30. The ERAs of the starters, I'm just going to read these down the line, all three starters, 1.23, 1.54, 3.06. So we can't afford to have come up short or have a bad day offensively, because we will be shut out quite simply. And that goes for any team across the board in the conference. Any team that goes up against this Texas pitching staff is going to have difficulty, and there's a reason why they are top 5 ranked right now. I believe they were number 3, if I'm not mistaken, in D1 baseball this week, and they've been right around there all year. I expect them to continue that. I don't expect us to just get have a hitting spree against them. We need to capitalize in the innings where the pitcher, the starting pitcher is wearing down, is getting tired. We need to capitalize and make, score runs when we can, score every run we can. If we do that and we're able to go up against these elite pitchers, these elite starters, then we should hold our own and keep it close. If not, it can turn real ugly real fast in Austin.
So this game, to me, sounds like it needs to be a little bit of small ball by Ole Miss. You need to turn singles into doubles. You need to try and steal bags. You need to sacrifice runners over to second base. And listen, in the Evansville series, it didn't work out, but one of my favorite things is Ole Miss bunted with the bases loaded with 2 outs just to force the pitcher to try and make a play, when I've seen the same pitcher in that same play fall 60% of the time. It didn't work out for Ole Miss, but it was a really great idea, in my opinion.
Sure. And manufacture runs. That's the name of the game. A lot of times, I think you'll see that tonight as we're talking about the USM game a little earlier. I think you'll see that tonight. We need to manufacture runs. And you manufacture them, whether it's bunting guys over. We've done that several times with, the back of our lineup, the bottom of our lineup. We've done that with Braden Randall. We've done it with Hayden Federico. And if we need to do it with Dom Decker, then he's there for us. He can do it. Do I want to see a guy like Austin Foley go up there and try to bunt the ball? No, I don't want to see that. But situation sometimes puts those guys, it kind of ties their hands and says, hey, this is what you need to do to win the game. This is your best chance. Unfortunately, Foley in that one game, I believe that was, if I'm not mistaken, was that Coastal Carolina that he was trying to bunt over in that game?
It was one of those Houston games. I think it was Coastal. Yeah, so
either Coastal or Baylor won. It was not a pretty attempt, but he knows that he needs to swing away on that one, and I believe doing it over again, we'd probably go and try to get him to swing away at it.
All right, talking about Texas arms, what do they like in the bullpen?
So in the bullpen, like I said, they've got several arms. A lot of them are somewhat untested, but a lot of these guys, when you look at the rotation, you look at their relief, they're still 1.38, 1.69, 2.89, 3.18 ERA. I mean, there's not much of a weakness when it comes to this. This team is built well. It's built to be extended. If we extend them and do well in, getting them to the late innings, getting them tired, that's definitely what we want to see. We want to be able to get them to where they're using as many arms as possible, if possible. However, I don't think that's going to be the case. Not being the first series, not being the first conference series of the year, I think we're going to see the first game, especially possibly Saturday as well. We could see a one-run game, and we could see, 2-1, 3-2 type situation, and we've just got to be able to control it and get those runs when we need to. And we really need the back end of our bullpen to come in, especially on the closer side. We need the Landons, the Koenig. We need Landon Koenig and Landon Waters to really come in and do well for us.
All right, whenever we come back, we will hit the other side. What does the Texas batting lineup look like? Talking with Chad Smith from Swayze Crazy. Stick around. We'll talk about that in just a second. What if sports were traded like markets? You can now put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. You're participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter most. Robinhood prediction markets, they change the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but I never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. It's now available for download across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin futures and cleared swaps. Trading does involve significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission, merchant, and swap firm. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inboxes overflowing, and the one position you still have to fill, well, that's still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need to make the right hire, This is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, either skills, experience, or location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching. That'd be really great. That's going to result in less stress, less time, and more results. So when you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners to this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? Well, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. All right, Chad, going to the Texas batting order. Listen, Jim Schlossnagle was at Texas A&M, and they were famous for playing painfully slow back in the day, like 4-hour and 20-minute games. I mean, it was nuts. Is this going to be a brutally long series of games?
I don't believe so. That was more of a strategy back then with the type of team that he had. You're right. It was mentally exhausting just because your players were spending 4 hours a game out there on the diamond. This Texas team is different. This Texas team has really all facets working for it right now. At some point in the season, hopefully this weekend, they'll trip themselves up and may have to revert somewhat to some trickery, but Schlossnagle knows how to manipulate the game to his advantage. I don't think it's going to be painfully slow. I really believe that this is going to be a very clean game, offensively and defensively, and from the mound. You're going to see the pitchers really keeping up pace and pitching with some tempo, believe it or not.
Really? Okay. Well, that's good to hear. For their batting order, who are the hitters that we need to look out for?
Sure. So I've got a list of them, and I've got 7 out of 9. They're 9 batters. They can put 7 out of 9 batters in the lineup that have above 300 in their batting average. 4 of the guys have 4 home runs or more. 2 of them have 6 home runs. You've got on-base percentage. If you look at OPS, you've got 5 guys that are above 1.00 OPS. So they're going to get on base. They're going to look to move. They're going to look to bat over and get in position to score. Of course, I'm not telling the average baseball fan anything they don't know. This is how you win games. But really, anybody they put in the lineup is very well adept. They've even got a guy that can come in a reserve that is hitting 667 right now. Doesn't quite have the number of ABs to qualify for leading in the conference, but still. But really, the guys you want to look at Aidan Robbins. Aidan Robbins has a average right now of 390. He's hitting 6 home runs right now. He's also got 4 doubles and 1 triple. So 11 of his 23 hits are extra base hits. We really want to watch out for that guy and pitch around him as much as possible. But I do notice on here one of the things that the batting order has been susceptible to are strikeouts. And usually when you have higher average guys that can get the home run, we all know the old gorilla ball saying. But when you have that, out there, you're going to have more strikeouts typically. So, we lead I think we're number 3 in the NCAA in total strikeouts, went over 205 this past Sunday. And on the other hand, Texas was right around 173 as of this morning. So, we have the ability and the arms to go out there and really, get some strikeouts.
So not really Augurito, Texas, of putting the ball in play. They're going to swing and do damage and do the analytical thing.
Absolutely. They're going to do damage. They're going to get the guys in position, and they're going to look to score at each and every turn. I really think that Schlossnagle probably has one of the best assembled teams in the SEC right now. This might be the most difficult series that we have all year, and that's saying a lot given our schedule. We have a very tough schedule, but going to Austin especially, I believe they average around 6,000 per game over in Austin, and still it's going to be a good atmosphere for these guys. It's also going to be a loud atmosphere. Texas is known for their baseball historically, so they're going to be into every pitch.
All right. Thank you so much for stopping by, Chad. Any last thoughts on this game or this series?
I tell you what I'm most interested in seeing is seeing the depth of our bullpen, the depth of our pitching staff come full circle this week. And is it too early to be expecting that on my side, or from where I sit? Maybe, because you really want to develop your pitching staff and have your best weeks towards the middle to the end of the season as you go into postseason. But I believe we're gonna step out and we're gonna surprise some people. Do I think that we're gonna win more than one ball game in Austin this weekend? Difficult to say. I'm going to say I will take one win in Austin, and if we can win in Hattiesburg tonight, that will be a success this week.
Yeah, I've said all week that if Ole Miss somehow finds a way to go 2-2 over the week, this is a very, very successful week.
Absolutely. Go 2-2 against number 7 and number 3 in the nation. Yeah, we'll be ranked next week, and we'll earn some respect off of that as well.
All right, Chad, thank you for stopping by. We'll talk to you next week, bud.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again for tuning in to today's Locked On Ole Miss podcast. We'll continue to talk transfer portal, college baseball, spring practice, all of that all week. So make sure you subscribe and follow the show so you get all of the latest episodes. We're on all of the social channels, so check that out as well. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Ole Miss ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and a bracket challenge. You have a chance to beat me. You can sign up right now. Go to the address. The link is down below. Use the promo code MARCH, and they can hook you up. For those of you on network, we will send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you get a second listen on Locked On College Football or Locked On SEC. Ole Miss versus Texas, road weekend. We will be doing reaction shows immediately after every single ball game. We will talk to you later. Hotty toddy, everybody.